Right, give us a count in and then we'll go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on the Resources Ready Develop program. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the questions pane of the control panel that you should see in front of you. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation. We will collect these and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. So joining today is myself, Stuart Hodge. I'm the Project Development Manager for RESA. Also joining us today is Janine Carruthers, our Stakeholder Engagement Manager.
Good afternoon.
So our agenda for today is we will give you a brief industry update just about the industry and where it sits in South Australia at the moment, and then we will give you the overview of the Resources Ready Develop program. Again, if you have any questions, submit them as we go along and we will answer them at the end. The entire session should take between 30 and 40 minutes. I will now hand over to Janine, who is going to give the industry update on where industry is at in South Australia and where we think the opportunities lie.
Thank you, Stuart. Right. Going through and speaking to you a little bit, first of all, about who RESA is and what we do. For those of you that haven't met us before, we are an alliance, hence the name Resources and Engineering Skills Alliance. Our main areas of focus is within the mining, energy, engineering, as well as energy sectors. What we are expert service providers, and we're very much service providers around capability and supporting industry, both the resources industry and certainly also the supply chain, to be able to support you in developing you professionally. Now, we're not a membership organisation, even though we are an industry association, and we do drive communication through to you via a mailing list. So if you're not on our mailing list, please make sure that you do get onto that. We're not an RTO, so we're not about presenting you with a nationally accredited bit of information. Rather, we try and make sure that it's very focused to the resources industry and the needs that are presented to us by those organisations. We are governed by quite an extensive board, and I've listed for you who some of those key companies are that do sit on our board. So we do have representatives from Oz Minerals. We've got Terramin Australia that sits on our board, and the gentleman that sits on our board from Terramin Australia is also part of OzIM. We've got representation from Peace National, as well as Cal Electric. Those of you who don't know Design for Growth, they also do a lot of work within the resources sector, and it's also very, very specifically around capability development. We've got two independent bodies that also sit on the board, and we're happy to introduce a gentleman that has been around in South Australia for quite a while, and he's very well known in the Aboriginal areas as well. For any of you that don't know Parry, it's probably worthwhile you doing so, and obviously we've also got representation from the Department of State Development, particular to the resources sector. As I've mentioned to you before, we're very much about capability and capacity building of resources companies themselves, but also very much around the supply chain, hence the reason why I'm speaking to you today. And our aims are to build employment and opportunities for South Australians. It's really important that I guess we get that focus across to you. Our aim is obviously to grow our business and certainly to grow your business through labour market research. We do quite a bit of work around hiring intentions within our industry sector, and I'll present you with some information in a minute. We do workforce development. We look at where there's concerns around training solutions. So training solutions not just for now, but also for industries into the future and what some of those industry roles are likely to look like. Our capability building program for suppliers we're involved in, as well as some of the priority skills areas within our sector. Sorry. Is there actually jobs within the mining sector? A lot of people are asking themselves, and there's a lot of conjecture as to whether there is or not. we do a lot of graphing and certainly a lot of data capture around hiring intentions, and we have used SEEK for a lot of this information over the last 5 years, and it's very interesting to look at our graph that you can now see, looking back from the second week in February 2017 back to February 2016, and you'll notice across that period we actually hit over 1,000 jobs within the resources sector. Now, whether that's indicative of a mining boom or whether that's indicative of a steady increase within our sector, I'll leave that for you to be the judge. Currently, South Australia has 12 operating mines within the state, and we've marked those for you, both in the far north, and you can also see in the Greater Adelaide metropolitan area where some of those opportunities currently are. But we've also taken that one step further and actually looked at potential strong opportunities. And those opportunities are around existing mines that are increasing their capabilities and certainly increasing their footprint. But also when you look at the opportunities, and we've just listed 6 of those areas at the moment, a lot of those are around recommissioned mines, so mines that have been out of operation for a period of time, where they're now looking at actually coming back. So we're all aware of the fact that BHP is looking at developing their second slope. Ken Hill is certainly an area worth keeping an eye on. We've then had WPG Resources that are recommissioning Challenger and also in the process of doing that for Takura. And there's also Tunkilia that's worth you keeping an eye on. And then we've got Carrapateena Project, and they've got Pybar working on their first cut for that. And we've also got the Portia gold mine that is worth you being aware of as well. Further to that, we've got 10 feasibility studies that have been lodged for sites both in the far north of South Australia and also in Adelaide metropolitan area. One that comes to mind that I'm looking at first, obviously, is Bird in Hand. That's been considered by Terramin at the moment, and we've got quite a few of them, as you can see, just off Eyre Peninsula, and certainly consider the fact that there's work that's potentially going to be happening in the York Peninsula as well. Further to the feasibility studies, we then also have another 6 mining proposals that are being considered at the moment, and I mentioned Tunkilia to you for WPG Resources. That's certainly one that's being further developed again as well. So, what does that mean for 2017 and further on? I spoke to you about the fact that RESA is very much about jobs and opportunities for South Australians. We're hoping to be able to work with you to connect to some of those opportunities that are out there. We're trying to help the supply chain understand the resource industry better and certainly be able to position you front and centre to take advantage of some of those opportunities that are likely to be coming up within the sector in 2017 and beyond.
Thank you, Janine. And Janine will, of course, be hanging around until the end of the webinar. So if you've got any questions about the material we presented there, we're more than happy to take those. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the program that we're here today to talk about, the Resources Ready Develop program. So what I'll cover is I will cover why should you do it, who should do it, what's in the program, and then how do you register for the program from there. So at the outset, we need to talk about the Resources Ready Develop program as part of the PACE Supply Chain Development Program, which is a South Australian government program that supports development of companies into the mining, equipment, technology and services industry, the METS industry. It's delivered on behalf of the state government by RESA and another organisation called Osmine in 2 primary components. Develop, which we're here today talking about, and a sort of sister program called Extend, delivered by Osmine. And if you need more information about that, contact us and we can put you through on that. It is supported by the South Australian Government through the Mining Industry Participation Office, which supports South Australian industry to connect into the mining sector and use their expertise in that sector and also export it to the world. And they provide us financial support for this program, and they're also present at sessions and give keynote presentations, and we're very grateful for their support. So why should you develop your company into the resources industry? As Janine said, there are some opportunities out there. But of course, whenever you're looking at a new industry or expanding your presence in an existing industry, you need to look at the pros and the cons. So there are many opportunities. There is a lot of industry activity happening here in South Australia at the moment. And at the moment, there is a national focus on the METS industry, both through initiatives at a state government level and also federal government. There is METS Ignited, which is a federally funded industry body that's supporting development in the sector as well. So it is a good time at the moment to be a METS-focused company. The cons, of course, and you have to consider these as part of your strategy, is there are some very high barriers to entry for the sector. And the operators within the sector, those who would be buying your product, have very specific needs. And that's part of what the Develop program is aimed to help you address, is evaluating the industry, looking at those barriers to entry and how to navigate them, and what those specific needs are and how you can meet them. But more on that in a moment. At the moment, there are some broader industry trends in the resources sector that are well worth being aware of. At the moment, the operators are looking for problem solvers, not door knockers. They're not looking for companies to knock on their door and just say, we can do anything with you, we can do this better than other people or just as well as other people. They're looking for people who solve their problems. They're looking for open system solutions, not point solutions. They need your solutions to work within the existing ecosystem that they have, not bolt on an entirely new ecosystem to what they're already doing. They're looking for cost savings. That's a given. The industry is always trying to drive down costs, and anything that you can do that can save operators money will be welcomed very warmly. Safety is an ever-present factor within the mining industry, and companies take it very, very seriously. So anything that you can present to them that will help them increase their safety would be warmly received as well. And as always, they're looking for productivity, productivity, productivity. Anything that can help them drive productivity in their minds, they are on the lookout for. So with all of that in mind, knowing what the industry looks for and knowing what strategies you need to do, that's why we have designed the Develop program. So the Develop program is a commercial development program for companies who are either already in the sector or are looking to enter the MET sector themselves. It runs from May to September in 6 full-day sessions with other activities in between. It will be held at Deverton this year. We run from CCF House, which is a fantastic training facility that we use. And each session is supplemented by coaching and mentoring from our program facilitator, from RESA ourselves, and from other presenters in the program. And it's all supported by an online portal and materials, including recordings of all the presentations. So develop companies. Which companies are we looking for to participate in this program? We're looking for established resources suppliers that are looking to grow their business. So people who may have been in there for some time, have gone through the sort of boom and bust cycle a little bit, and are now looking to grow their offering into the sector. We're looking for established companies with expertise in other sectors who are looking to diversify and enter the MET sector. We're looking for innovation-focused companies who are looking to apply their innovative concepts or products to the resources sector. And we also look after agile companies with a services focus. So companies who may not have a resources-specific offering, but have a service that can be applied into the sector. The format, as I already mentioned, is a series of full-day workshops. They are facilitated. They are, the idea is that they are discussion. You build a network of your peers in the program. We don't want it just to be a static information presentation to you. And we bring in key guest presenters and key presenters from the industry to support that. So that has included in the previous year, and will again this year, procurement experts from major resource companies, experienced facilitators and consultants from resource industry backgrounds, innovation experts to help you sharpen your offering for the industry, marketing and social media professionals who can support you to develop your marketing and other targeting for the sector, and then government support agencies, so you can be across what support you can access from them as well. So the program, as I mentioned, runs across 6 sessions, and the idea is that it's a progressive program. These aren't one-and-done sessions. It's an ongoing process of development for you. It's sort of split into 3 broad themes across those 6 sessions. So the first 2 sessions are all about assessing your business and looking at your readiness internally, making sure that you've got your house in order to approach the industry. The second 2 sessions are about building your company into the sector, building your approach, becoming a problem solver for the industry, as we mentioned before, rather than just offering what you've always offered. We really want you to go from being just someone who takes an order to being a solution maker for the industry. Finally, the last 2 sessions are about an external focus. So they're about selling to the resources industry. How do you build your network? Where can you approach these companies? Who do you approach in these companies? And then finally a focus on new markets. So preparing for export and preparing for diversification. As well as the sessions, we have extra coaching activities. You have access to program mentors outside of the session and support from RESA and those key presenters to build your expertise between sessions. We really want you to take the material presented in the sessions and apply it to your business, so it's not entirely theoretical. Our aim is to provide you with practical templates and coaching so you can make a difference in your business. We will help you film a social media video just as a practice presentation for presenting your company to the wider industry and as a net supplier. We give you resources-ready growth strategy templates which you can use within your business. And at the end of the program, we let you present to an industry buyer panel. So present your companies to industry professionals in a safe environment and receive feedback on what your company is offering and how that can fit into the resources sector, as well as any changes you can make there. I mentioned the digital support portal before. All session material is available online between sessions, so if you can't make a session or if you just want to go back and review material, that's available as well. So we really want you to get some strong outcomes from this program. It's not a one-and-done program. It's not a fire-and-forget program. We want you to create a point of difference from your company and a unique value proposition. So you're selling something that no one else in the industry is selling. We want you to develop new business models and processes that will assist you in growing your company and capturing value. So there might be aspects of your company that you can sell into the industry that you can't sell into other industries. Or it could be something that you're doing really well that you can then leverage into a new business model. We want to support you to develop your business development skills, targeting the right people, building those strong business networks, and identifying opportunities within the sector, and marketing to the key industry clients as a part of that. And then we, of course, want to help you improve your strategy and approach to the sector and work out how that fits in with the rest of your business. From 2016, this is the second time we've run this program. We had 12 companies participate in the program last year. We've had some really strong outcomes from that program. We've had ongoing collaboration between participants of the program. They met during the program, they were in that sort of safe environment of their peers, and they've now gone on to work together and collectively develop opportunities together. In fact, out of the 2016 program, we've developed a business development group who meet every 2 months to discuss and share business development opportunities and target bigger opportunities within the sector. And we'll be looking to support participants this year to develop a similar group. And of course, they've all grown their network and outside of its existing boundaries. And now, almost 9 months on from that previous program, they're starting to experience the benefit of that enhanced network effect from the program. So we really want you this year to take advantage of this new network that you're developing and develop that into new opportunities going forward. So the key dates for the program, we commence in May with 2 sessions in May, and then it is 1 session a month up until September. And it's, of course, a presentation to the buyer panel at the end of that. So if you'd like to jot these down in your diary, this presentation will be made available to you afterwards, so you can do so. So how do you get involved? There is a registration form available online at the web address there. Again, we will send you this presentation, and we will also send you a link to where that form can be downloaded and filled out. There is a co-contribution for the program, which is $1,900 plus GST, all inclusive. That is a per company registration. So if you have sessions during the program which you need to bring more people from your company into, because this really is a change process, you're welcome to bring them along. And that cost is heavily subsidised by the South Australian Government funding for the program. There are limited places available, so we encourage you to register as soon as possible for this program if you'd like to take part. And if you'd like to contact us for more information about the program, please contact myself or Janine about the program. You can contact us at the email address there or the telephone number, but again, we will email some information around to you. So we're now going to begin answering the questions submitted during the session. And we can then take any more if you think of any while we give our answers, or now that you've had a second to think, you can still submit those through the questions pane in your attendee control panel. So our first question that we've received today is asking about the guest speakers during the program and how we've sort of managed that. In the previous year's program, guest speakers included presenters from Santos and other mining companies. It included some industry consultants with a strong history in the oil and gas sector, and we're pleased to say we'll be bringing some of those back this year as well. It also included experienced supply chain consultants, people who've actually been on the operator side of things and provided that feedback to companies before, and have been the people at the head of tenders. So they know what companies are looking for when they evaluate those tenders. And those presenters have of course remained available to people in the program to contact afterwards. In terms of access to networks, how we've done that, our program facilitators have provided access to their networks and supported companies through their expertise and their contacts to build into the rest of the program, as has RESA. We've connected companies on the program into our network as well, which we think is an important part of the process.
And Stuart, some of those networks certainly involve a lot of the supply chain companies being able to access webinars like this, and also understanding, I guess, some of the key players around industry associations, haven't we?
Yes. We think, there are a number of industry associations and other industry groups that RESA are connected to, and we'd like to help you get connected to them as well.
And I guess some of those also include workshops and seminars being run by some of these organisations?
Yes, and anything that we can do to support you during the program, we of course are happy to help you chase down and help you connect you into as well. So we think that's, if there are any other questions, please submit them now. Okay, thank you for attending today's webinar. If you have any other questions, please contact us using the contact details on your screen now, Resources Ready at resa.org.au, or phone us on 08 7325 8501. That's 08 7325 8501. Once you leave today's webinar, you will receive a survey on the presentation, and we would appreciate if you could complete that to provide your feedback. You will also receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours with a link to view a recording of today's webinar, as well as links to presentation and to information about the program itself. On behalf of RESA and our presenters, thank you for joining us today, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Goodbye.